Imagine money as a secret lens. It doesn't just buy things, it shows you who a person really is. It reveals their fears, their true thoughts, and who truly holds the reins in their life. Everyone wants money, most chase it, but few truly grasp its deeper game. They call it freedom, success. But a wise old thinker named Machiavelli saw it differently. To him, money was a clear sign of who had real influence. He warned that if you don't understand how money is used to control and test people, you'll become its prisoner, even if you feel rich. The simple truth: most people don't truly use money. They are used by the idea that money makes them strong. But Machiavelli's view of power wasn't about fancy living. It was about how money could quietly make others follow, without ever needing a fight. So let's uncover how money really works, not just how to get it, but how it makes the world move. Rule 1. Money shows your true self. Think about someone who suddenly gets rich, a big raise, an inheritance, a business boom. In a flash, they act different. Louder, prouder. They think the money itself has changed them for the better. But look closer. Truly strong people don't change. Only those who were weak to begin with do. Money doesn't create good character. It just turns up the volume on what's already there. A shy person might hide behind their new status. A tricky person might suddenly seem generous, but only if it helps them. A foolish person buys what they think smart looks like. So the first lesson is, don't chase money to feel powerful. Chase inner strength, discipline, smart plans, and a good name. Let money be a sign of your control, not the source of it. Otherwise, you'll have money but still be weak. And nothing is more empty than someone with a lot of stuff, but no real respect. Machiavelli saw leaders fall, not because they ran out of money, but because they believed their gold made others respect them. He knew real power is when people act differently before you even speak, not because of your bank account, but because of your clear thinking. Rule 2. Quiet wealth is strong wealth. Today, everyone wants to show off. Expensive watches, fast cars, designer clothes. People broadcast their wealth as if it's their best quality. But Machiavelli would see this as a huge risk. Because once everyone knows what you have, they start figuring out how to take it. He believed hidden power lasts longer. You must never let your money shout louder than your wise choices. In fact, if your money is the loudest thing about you, you've already lost. You've just told the world where your weak spots are. So what does a smart person do? They build their wealth quietly. They grow strong without a big show. And they let others think they have a bit less than they truly do. Nothing is more dangerous than someone whose full strength you can't measure. Let people guess about your money. Let them doubt. It's better they think you're just getting by, when secretly you're running the whole show. That's how you move unseen. That's how you surprise others. That's how true power is built in silence. Rule 3. Own your money, don't rent it. Here's where many stumble. They think earning money means they have control. But if your money can be frozen, taxed heavily, changed, or taken away by someone else's choice, you don't truly own it. You're just renting it. Machiavelli feared this more than being poor, relying on others. If your survival depends on something someone else controls, you become easy to manage. Ask yourself, is your income tied to someone else's approval? Could your daily life crash with one phone call? Is your financial strength built on systems that aren't truly yours? If yes, you're not free. You might have nice things, but you're still limited. The one who controls your food always controls you. So the wise person doesn't just make money, they build strong walls around it. Many different ways to earn, assets that are hard for others to see or reach. Income that doesn't depend on being popular or on passing fads. They build wealth that lasts even in quiet times, and safety that doesn't need people to like them. Because once you've made someone depend on you financially, you don't need to argue, you don't need to make threats, you don't even need to speak. They will police themselves. They'll apologize before you even get upset. They'll follow your lead, calling it a fair deal. And that is real power. Not control by fear, not control by fame, but control through a strong economic pull. People around you naturally follow your lead, not because you forced them, but because your financial setup has more gravity than theirs. That's Machiavelli's real wealth, not just cash, but influence that grows over time, even in silence. If you don't learn how to build that, you'll spend your whole life making money for others, living in fake comfort while someone else decides your future. So don't just chase income. Build true independence, not the kind you show on social media, but the kind no one can see and no one can take away. That's the bedrock. If you master that, you won't need to look powerful, you'll feel it. Every time you walk away without worry, every time you say no without shaking, every time someone realizes you're the only one in the room who doesn't need anything from anyone else. You are now beginning to see the hidden game. This is not just information. It is a fundamental shift in perception. If these truths are arming your mind with a new clarity, then ensure you do not miss the next phase of your training. Take a moment now to subscribe to this channel. Let it be a quiet, strategic move to continue your path toward true financial sovereignty. Rule 4. Money is the ultimate loyalty test. People will say they care about you. They'll say they believe in you. They'll promise never to let you down. And then money steps in, and you begin to see who they truly are. Unlike feelings or words, money forces people to make choices. It creates hard decisions, temptations, threats. Give someone power over your income, and watch how quickly their kindness becomes conditional. Offer someone a bribe, and see how quickly their loyalty changes. Or, worse, watch what happens when you get money, and they don't. Suddenly, your success makes them unhappy. Your progress seems suspicious. Your rise becomes proof that they've been left behind. Machiavelli didn't trust people who only liked him when he had nothing. He watched their reactions when wealth was around. Did they feel happy for him, or jealous? Did they ask how they could help, or demand what he did to deserve it? Money doesn't change people, it just shows what they were pretending not to be. And that's why the smart person never talks about being rich. They use money wisely to test character without warning. They might offer a chance, a role, a small advantage. Not to be kind, but to see how that person handles power. If they get proud, the chance is gone. If they become too needy, distance is created. If they get greedy, they're cut off. This is using wealth like a sieve. Not everyone should be close to your financial comfort. Some people are only loyal when they need something. Once they're warm, they forget who built the fire. So your job isn't to keep your money secret. Your job is to watch what happens when people think you're rich, and use their reaction to understand who they truly are. Rule 5. Strong people control access to money, not just have it. There are two kinds of people, those who want money, and those who know others want it more, and use that desire to lead them. The weak talk about getting rich. The strong talk about building systems that make people rely on them to survive. Machiavelli never cared about gold itself. He studied its influence. And he saw something most people still miss. The one who hands out the money controls how everyone who wants it behaves. That's why kings had their court members. That's why today's billionaires don't argue, they decide where the money goes. Want to become powerful? Stop chasing income like someone begging. Start thinking like a builder. Ask, how can I create something that others need? How can I develop a skill that gives me power? How can I move from being a user to being the source? The person who pays others never begs. The person who owns the meeting doesn't ask for a seat. And once you control the flow of money, you don't have to trick anyone. People will trick themselves to get close to you. That's the game, not by working harder, not by earning more, but by creating value that others depend on. The harder you are to reach, the more important that connection feels. Rule 6. Let them chase the money, you chase true power. This is how you win battles without fighting. You let others chase the paycheck, the promotion, the inheritance, the fancy title, the trophy. And while they run, you quietly study the land. You build hidden influence. You notice the silences. You move slowly, steadily, without cheering for small wins or worrying about small losses, because the truly wise person knows money is just the bait. The real prize is power. Let them celebrate their raise. You focus on owning the system that creates the paychecks. Let them fight over percentages. You stay focused on your strong position. Let them spend years climbing career ladders. You build dependency, the one thing that makes people serve you long after any contract ends. Money runs out, but a debt of value, social, emotional, psychological, lasts a lifetime. The wise don't get rich to be admired. They get rich to have choices. To walk away from what others crawl towards. To say no, while others beg for yes. Machiavelli would never waste time showing off wealth. He'd sit in a room, watch who moves when money is mentioned, and then decide who's useful, who's dangerous, and who's easy to predict. That's real control. Not from noise, not from greed, but from understanding how money reveals what people hide. And once you master that, you won't just make money, you'll master the whole system behind it. And you'll never have to chase anything again. To truly master money like Machiavelli, stop seeing it as just a goal. Money isn't just an award. It's a weapon, and like any weapon, its value is not in having it, but in how skillfully you use it. Rule 7. Give comfort, then control the fear of losing it. People don't work hard just for money. They work hard to keep the life money gives them. Once someone gets used to a certain income, a certain way of life, or a certain reputation, they become emotionally tied to it. Their identity gets mixed up with what their money allows them to have. Give someone just enough comfort, just enough status, just enough visibility, and then watch what happens when they feel it might slip away. They'll make deals they don't like. They'll stretch themselves thin. They'll hold back their true thoughts. They'll obey. This isn't cruel. It's simply understanding how worry about money shapes decisions far more than simple logic ever will. Machiavelli would use this not to hurt, but to gain a strong position. He'd never threaten directly. That's too obvious. He'd simply let them feel a bit uneasy. He might pay them late, withdraw a small favor, look away, make them wonder, not panic, just wonder, if they've lost their standing. In that quiet doubt, people show how deeply they're tied to their comfort. The truth is, most people will do anything to avoid going backward, not because they're greedy, but because they've linked their sense of self-worth to their standard of living. So the game is not to just give people money. It's to give them an identity that money supports. Then sit back and see how far they'll go to keep that identity. This is how old empires lasted. Not with battles, but with salaries, with ceremonies, with symbols of special rights that could be taken away at any moment. When you give someone comfort that feels earned but is still fragile, you control them without ever raising your voice. Rule 8. The rich are not admired. They're judged. The world has been told a lie, that having money means everyone will look up to you, that people will treat you better the more you show your wealth. But Machiavelli saw through that. He knew that when you walk into a room and flash your wealth, you're not impressing people, you're asking them to size you up. They measure what you have, what you wasted, what you lack in good taste, what it would take to take your place. The truth is, wealth makes people admire you only if they want what you have. But truly powerful people, they don't admire your lifestyle. They measure your every move. So when you start acting from a place of insecurity, when your goal becomes looking rich instead of acting wisely, you invite danger. People will smile at your success while looking for your weaknesses. They will use your show of power against you. That's why Machiavelli would say, never show the world how much you need their praise. They'll use it to trap you. So here's how the Machiavellian handles wealth. He doesn't show it off. He shows self-control, not dollars. Precise actions, not fancy things. Influence, not indulgence. He may own everything, but you'll never know, and that's what gives him his edge. When no one can see how vast your power is, no one can plan how to break it. The quiet, rich person, they are dangerous. Because they never needed your approval, and they don't fear your judgment. Rule 9. Be strong without money. This is where everything changes. Most people are terrified of losing money because it would mean losing who they believe they are. But the Machiavellian learns to be separate from money. He earns it, he uses it, he grows it. But he never lets money define him. Because the strongest message you can send in any setting, business, politics, love, is this: I can walk away and you can't. That single fact changes every interaction. It makes people seek you, not because you're richer, but because you're truly free. You don't need the deal. You don't need the attention. You don't need to prove you belong. Because you know that even if the money disappeared, you'd rebuild it. Not by luck or begging, but from the same inner strength that made you powerful in the first place. Self-control, sharp thinking, smart moves, patience. This is how money really works. It isn't random. It isn't magic. It's a system. And the ones who master it are the ones who stop chasing it with feelings and start using it like a planner. Quiet, precise, not attached, unapologetic, unreachable by trickery. That's when the world truly turns. Not when you get rich, but when you become the force that decides who else does. And when you reach that level, money isn't the goal anymore. It becomes what it was always meant to be, an extension of your mind, not your master, not your identity, but a mirror, one that shows not what you have, but who you've become. To truly master money in the Machiavellian way, you must stop treating it like a finish line. Money isn't a reward. It's a weapon, and like any weapon, its value is not in having it, but in how precisely you use it. Rule 20. Control the flow, control the story. Machiavelli never trusted appearances. He knew power isn't with the one who holds all the riches, it's with the one who decides where those riches go. In today's world, that means you can be rich and still have no real power. You can have a lot of wealth and still be easily replaced. But if you control how value is given out, people's attention will turn to you. Not because they like you, not because they admire you, but because they need you. This is the power of being in the right place. You don't want to be the richest in the room. You want to be the one who signs the important papers, makes the rules, sets the budget, or controls where the spotlight shines. Machiavelli understood that if you are the giver, people will forgive, flatter, obey, even fear you. When their life is tied to your decisions, you never need to threaten. Your quiet becomes a signal. Your pause becomes pressure. Your absence becomes punishment. Kings didn't just collect gold. They built a system where people relied on them. Not because they needed servants, but because they understood a key rule of power. People don't follow wealth itself. They follow where it comes from. And that source must always seem limited, mysterious, and a bit unpredictable. You don't give everyone easy access. You don't explain how you got it. You let them guess, wonder, worry. Because uncertainty makes people automatically loyal. They won't risk upsetting you, not because you're scary, but because they're afraid of losing access to something they don't know how to replace. That's not just money power. That's control over behavior, and it leads to the next level of building wealth. Rule 11. Never show them the system, let them depend on the result. In today's world, everyone wants to be a teacher, to show their secret recipe, sell their methods, turn their success into a step-by-step guide. But the Machiavellian never fully reveals the whole system. He lets people enjoy the good results but never truly understand how the process works. Because once they know the system, they can copy it, and once they can copy it, they don't need you anymore. So what do you do instead? You give just enough to keep them interested. You give value, but not the detailed plan. You give good results, but not a way to easily repeat them. This is how old, powerful families worked. They didn't just build wealth, they built secrecy. They taught their children how to manage it, but they never taught the common people how to do it themselves. The more mysterious your success, the more legendary you become. And that image is worth more than money itself. It becomes a kind of power, not financial but psychological. People will trust your advice, repeat your words, follow your plans, not because they fully understand them but because they work. And once they believe in your results more than they believe in their own instincts, you've taken control of their financial story. That's how you stop being just a source of money and start being a source of important guidance. And when they see you that way, they'll never dare to compete. They'll only want to stay close. That's how you become someone no one can replace. Rule 12. When you give, attach invisible strings. Machiavelli understood giving in a different way than most. Where others saw giving as kindness, he saw it as power. He didn't give to be liked, he gave to create a sense of obligation. Because the truth about human nature is this: people rarely forget their pain, but they feel forever tied by unexpected help. And when you give in a way that feels rare, specific, and generous, people will link their own self-worth to the moment you helped them. They won't say it aloud, but deep down, they'll feel a private debt. That's how strong connections are made. Not with spoken promises, but with smart acts of help. The key, though, is this: never announce it, never expect thank yous, never repeat the favor unless it keeps you in power. Your help must feel both very special and not something that happens all the time. That makes it sacred. And people protect what they feel they might not receive again. You don't want to be seen as just a generous person. You want to be seen as the only one who can help in a tough situation. That's when guilt, loyalty, and quiet obedience begin. Not from trickery, but from memory. Once someone starts making their choices based on what they owe you, you no longer need to lead. They will follow on their own. Machiavelli called this quiet power. The ability to shape the emotional give and take around you, not by force, but by unspoken agreements. Rule 13. Build a life where money is present, but not loud. This is what sets truly powerful people apart from just rich people. The rich talk about money, the powerful don't need to. They live in spaces where wealth is the solid ground, not the main topic of conversation. They are with people who understand value instinctively, not just emotionally. They've moved past the chase. They've reached a balance where money is not who they are, but a tool they use. And that's the final goal. You don't want to be the one always talking about income, taxes, or deals. You want to be the one who sits silently in a meeting, says little, signs the important paper, and walks out while everyone else is still arguing. You want to walk through life calm, not bothered by money ups and downs, because you know, you have more than you show, you own more than you explain. You influence more than you'll ever need to prove. That's how money works for the smart person. It's not loud, it's not frantic, it's not desperate. It's just there, like a shadow behind every move, reminding the world that your power isn't in your possessions. It's in your smart structure, your self-control, and the silence no one can understand. You have now been given the blueprint. You have seen that money is not a goal, but a complex tool that reveals character, tests loyalty, and builds control. You have learned Machiavelli's powerful lessons: to see money as leverage, to build in silence, to avoid dependence, to test loyalty, to become a source of value, and to achieve unshakable inner freedom. This isn't about becoming cold or cruel. It's about becoming strategic, disciplined, and utterly self-reliant. It's about understanding the hidden mechanics of human motivation so you can navigate the world with mastery, rather than being tossed about by its currents. If this video has changed how you view money and influence, if it has armed you with a new, sharper vision, then hit that like button. Share this crucial message with someone who needs to see these truths. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. Join us to keep unlocking the secrets of true, lasting power. Your future self, the one who truly commands their destiny through wisdom and strategy, is waiting. Remember, in a world obsessed with superficial wealth, the person who understands the flow of money, rather than just its accumulation, holds all the keys to their own fate.